Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? I am very excited. I'm always excited to come to you live from my home office, actually. I hear some of you are getting pretty pounded with snow right now. I live up in Maine and we haven't seen anything yet, but from what I understand, we're going to be getting about 8 inches tomorrow. So my dogs will be very happy. So, how is everybody doing? How are you guys enjoying the challenge so far? Do me a favor. Why don't you drop a link, or I'm sorry, a number in the comment section? Drop me a one if you're really enjoying it. Drop me a two if you have any questions. And I would love to answer them. You can also ask me questions on the comments. I actually can't hear you. So you can drop me a question in the comments and I shall answer them. So, I'd also like to know, how are you doing with your homework? Have you thought about your boundaries? Have you thought about why you're going home or visiting family or friends or anyone for the holidays? I'd love to know. And I hope you're doing well with it. I hope it's giving you time to reflect. I hope it is just making you think and getting you kind of outside of that box a little bit. So, what I want to talk about today are emotions. Ah, those lovely little son of a bitch of a things, huh? I want to talk about how to deal with them, how to understand them, and how to use them to your advantage. And you're going to see me looking off to the side because, yes, I do. I have my little cheat sheet here, so I'll be reading from that. um, First, I'd like to start with a little story. I spent my years tamping down my emotions to a pretty big extent. I am the youngest of three children, and my mother would always minimalize my issues. No matter what it was, she would always minimalize them. And I get that I was a child, and I get that I had two sisters, so they also needed attention and whatnot. But it always seemed that she was tamping down and minimalizing everything that I did, whether it was college, whether it was high school, whether it was really just anything, you know, issues with my health, things like that. It didn't matter. And they were both alcoholics. They're both dead now, which I do not shed a tear over. But both of my parents were alcoholics, and we lost our home, and we had to move uh, to a town. We moved from our home into public housing, and I was only a child. I was 14 years old. I wasn't a baby, but I was a kid still. And my I guess it wasn't supposed to affect me. It was just supposed to be business as normal. So, I lost all of my friends at school. I used to ride horses and I used to hang out on this farm, which I absolutely loved. And I lost all of that. And not only that, but I did it underneath the kind of umbrella of having alcoholic parents who, you know, weren't really there. So it took me years, truly, to realize that I had emotions that were worthy of people taking notice to, people validating them, myself validating them. Again, because you grow up that way, so then you begin to feel that way. So my health for myself was minimalized. I got sick with a few things in my life, and so that was minimalized. Well, it's no big deal. No, it really was a big deal. And I'm still dealing with after effects of that sickness. So things have happened to other parts of my family, and oh well, that's no big deal. No, it really was a big deal. It really is a big deal. And we're not being spoiled little brats. We're being truthful with ourselves now, and we can say that, yeah, it's a big fucking deal. So that's my story. I know we all have one, right? But I just wanted to get that out there and kind of share a little bit about my life with you. You all know that I come from a toxic place, but you don't know to what degree and how I can really help you, and we can help each other. And so I just gave you a little bit of insight. So, why do we have emotions? Let's talk about that with regard to going home for the holidays. So, of course we have emotions around the holidays. Of course we have emotions, period. But I think around the holidays is they're really just amped up a lot more. Whether it's because you haven't seen family in a long time, society tells you that you're supposed to care so much more during the holidays because it's a time of giving and a time of sharing and love and yada yada and um, whatever. And we're also humans. And with being human comes a lot of emotions, good and bad. That's, it's a curse, but it's also the blessing that comes with being human, I guess. So let me start off by saying that um, there are no wrong emotions, and there really aren't. Uh, the only thing that there is there's wrong reactions to emotions. And so I'll give you an example. If somebody takes what you say out of context, um, or somebody's frustrated about it, and then all of a sudden they get angry. Well, that's not a good reaction. That's not the proper reaction. The proper reaction is to talk to them, is to understand, was it really a misunderstanding? Was that person being real? Was that person being truthful? What what happened? Why did they say that? That's the proper response. Just getting frustrated and then automatically jumping from that into anger, well, that's not right. That's not the proper way to do it. So that is one of the big things. So one of my favorite sayings is regulation, not repression. And I think that's huge when it comes to emotions, because you want to regulate your emotions. You don't want to repress them. We all know repressing emotions. We all know where that gets us, right? Drinking, drugs, fighting, the anger, the crying at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, all of that. You don't want to repress anything. You want to regulate everything. So, if you are feeling anger for something, then address it, regulate it, understand why you're getting so angry about something, because there's a reason behind that. If you're I don't know, if you hate going on the computer and trying to figure something out, and it makes you so angry, why is it making you angry? It's not a proper response. It's just a computer. So why is it making you angry? So that's something you have to think about. So you regulate it, you understand it, you know, be methodical with it even. Think about what is happening. And I know in the moment it is very difficult to do that. Of course it is. It's difficult for us all, especially when emotions are really, really high. But again, regulate them, understand them more. So there are three ways really to do this. There is perception, identification, and accepting them. And like I kind of just touched on a lot of them, but perception is really a big one, and it's something that I like to teach to my clients. And that is, perception. Did you understand it really correctly? Did you perceive it properly? Because what happens is whatever you're doing, you have shit going on in the background of your head that nobody else knows about. And that goes for really anybody else as well. So whatever you're about to hear from somebody, you're going to process through this like veil of whatever the hell's going on that day in your life. Could be great, could be horrible. Your cat could have just died. Your boyfriend could have just broken up with you. You could have just gotten a boyfriend. You could have just gotten a little kitty cat. So everything is going to really change your perception of how you process what that person just said or did or whatever. So that's one way to be able to kind of regulate your emotions, because you know that you're able to you know how you're perceiving it, and after time, it does get easier because you are really more keyed into yourself. Another thing is identification. You know, oh, I'm angry. Okay, yeah. Why am I angry? Holy shit. Or wow, I am really jealous of that person. It never even dawned on me that I was. It's human. It's understandable. It is normal. Oh, it is really, really normal. How many times have we done that? The unfortunate thing is, though, is that a lot of those feelings come out in different ways. Like if you are jealous of somebody, you're probably going to get angry towards them for whatever reason because you don't perceive that you are jealous of them. You get angry and then you're just angry, but you gotta identify what is going on first, and that's going to help you deal with your emotions, like I said, and understand them. And the last thing is accepting them. I know that I said that there is no wrong emotion, there's only a wrong reaction, and that is true. You accept your emotions, accept that you are, and accept, not accept that you are angry or jealous or threatened or happy or whatever it is. I mean, usually happy emotions don't need any of this explanation, so it's really those other ones. So accept them. You don't have to fight it initially. You don't have to fight the fact that you're angry initially. What you do is you have to dig deeper into that. But at first, it's okay. It's okay to recognize that you are angry over something. And anything like that. It's okay. It really is. So the second thing is, and I told you, God, I love these banners. They're so exciting. They're so fun to use. Shift your focus. Ooh, I got an itchy nose tonight. So shift your focus. So what does that mean? That means don't obsess. Um, how many of us do that on a daily basis? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shovel one of those comments if you do that on a on at least a weekly basis, right? Yeah. Um, I do it. I obsess about so much stuff. I could obsess right now about how I look on the screen, right? We all do it. We're all in those Zoom meetings, aren't we? Um, but don't obsess about it. Don't obsess. Shift your focus immediately, and that's going to help you. So, like I said, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling whatever you're feeling, and it becomes really intense for you because it can, because they're emotions. Yeah. They can get really, really intense. Well, shift your focus. You don't have to obsess about it and think about it and have this hamster wheel going in your head. You can shift your focus. You can immediately start to think about, I don't know, anything, truly anything. What are you going to have for dinner that night? Especially if you're going home for the holidays and, we're in that holiday kind of environment at this time. This is kind of where I'm at right now. What are you going to have for dinner that night? What do you think? What do you think Uncle Henry bought you for Christmas? And immediately your mind switches because you really can truly only think about one thing at a time, right? You may think you have thousands of things going on in your brain. You don't. You might go from one to the other to the other to the other, but you can only do one at a time. So shift that focus, get your blood going back down, relax for a second, and then go back. Then go back to that emotion. Go back to that place. And really, that only takes a second. It really truly does. You could get angry, you can get mad, you can get jealous, and then you can immediately shift your focus, come back, and then go back to whatever you're doing with kind of, a fresh breath in a sense. And that really only does take a second. Try it next time. I promise it really does work. And I'll also have a little technique for you at the end of this live program. It is absolutely possible that they don't realize that they're doing it. How about that? Yeah, I know there was no transition for that. It's on my paper. Deal with it. I'm sorry. There's those people might not know what they're doing at the time. They might not realize what they're doing. Because remember, like I said, everybody kind of has things going on that they don't, that they're also trying to process, that they're also dealing with. You know, the saying is, be kind of the necessary because everybody's fighting a battle. It really is true. Another thing that I heard was one of the greatest lines, sayings that I love, and it's not mine. I wish it was, but um, you know, you see your blooper reel, you only see everybody else's highlights, and that's true. And the same goes in kind of the opposite direction with emotions. That you know, people might not be aware of what they're doing, so it's just one more thing to kind of think about and have in your toolkit to know that, okay, wait a minute, they just said something, slightly inappropriate, or um they laughed at something, or and it wasn't right. Well, they might not realize they're doing it. So, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt, but only you can know for sure because it's your toxic environment. Here's another one. Wait, wait, wait. Let me get my banner. Feeding the bears. Haha. Don't feed the bears. What do I mean by that? Don't give in to their negativity. Oh, sweet mother, I know that we want to sometimes, right? We just want to freaking slap them or something because they're just being an ass. But don't give in to them. Don't give in to their negativity. Just walk away. Go away. Take a break. Read a book. Play your Sudoku. Remember me telling you all about that the other day? The stuff that you have to have for your mental breaks, right? You have to take that walk, take a nap, read a book, play your Sudoku. Something that I've been doing lately is I'm trying to learn Swedish because I want to talk to my cousin who speaks Swedish. That's her native language. And of course, she speaks like 15 other languages too because she's super smart. And actually, I think she speaks four, but after like two, but I'm trying to learn Swedish so I can talk to her someday. So I bought myself a Swedish word search puzzle book, and I play with that. So that's my little mind break. I know I'm a huge geek, but that's what I do. So there's many things that you can do, but if you don't give them food, they're going to starve, aren't they? Right? I mean, and it's the same way, with anything. If you don't feed them, if you don't feed something, they're going to go away. You have a stray cat on your porch, you don't feed it, it's going to go away and look somewhere else. I'm not telling you not to feed stray cats because I love them. But you get my idea. So if you do not feed their negativity, it's going to dry up. They're going to go somewhere else to see if they can get a rise out of somebody else. Nobody's got time for that, right? Don't even try it. Let them go somewhere else. You're too busy, being awesome to have to deal with that. So, another one. Hey, where's my banner? Triggers. Triggers. Oh, we all have them, don't we? Oh, they're lovely. They're lovely little things. Sometimes we recognize them. Sometimes we understand them. And other times we have no idea what the hell just happened. And that's a trigger. So some of us have more of them, and some of us have bigger ones than others. And again, the tricky part with humans and relationships with humans is you're not going to know them. Nope, they're like little landmines. You're not going to realize it until you step on one and you lose something. So, what do I mean on both sides? What I mean is this: when you have a trigger for yourself, you could quite possibly go off on somebody for seemingly no reason. Um, I don't know, somebody, you buy these beautiful pair of shoes, and somebody said you're so proud of them, and somebody says, wow, they must have cost a fortune, huh? And you go off on them. Why did you go off on them? All they said was, oh, it must have cost a fortune. Yeah, they could have said they were nice. They could have said they look comfortable. They could have said a million other things before they said that, but they didn't. Who knows why? But what was your trigger? Why did you go off on them so bad? Is it because, I don't know, you were in an old relationship and that person had control of the purse strings, and that's what they would always say to you, and immediately your mind got triggered and went back to there and you went into your defense mode? It's absolutely possible. So those are triggers. You have to look for them. You have to understand them. You have to you have to control them. But before you do any of that, you have to recognize them. And unfortunately, a lot of times you won't recognize them until somebody else hits them. And it's the same the other way. It's the exact same way for your friends or your family or something like that. Now, please don't get me wrong. I am not advocating for your toxic family, because I'll say it again, if this is your first time joining me, if you're coming to these live events, that means that you probably don't have a really great family, that you have very toxic people in your life. So that's my basis for these live shows. So I know what you're going through. So when I seemingly come to the defense of your family or your friends, it's only to try to give you, just some more of those tools in your toolkit. So to get back to the triggers on the other side, though, so what I'm saying is that, everything that I'm saying for you can also be said for somebody else in some at some level. So if you have, you have your mother, your father, or whatever, and they just triggered you, or they just went off on you for some reason. It's probably because it may be because you triggered them in some way. Could also just because they're an asshole. Who knows? Only you know. But it gives you one more thing to think about before you automatically jump to that, because maybe it's not. And maybe after all of this, you can find common ground too. I don't know. That's for you to decide. Just trying to give you some more skills in there. So, um, emotions are really the only thing that we can control, especially during this time. Once again, I'll say it. COVID. We can't control COVID, can we? We can help stop the spread, all that other good stuff, but we can't control it. We can't control what's happening. We can't control how other people are behaving, acting, anything like that. We can control very little, like I said, especially during this time of the season. So, what can you control? You can control your emotions. And controlling your emotions a lot of time, though, will control your external environment. Because again, if you don't feed the negativity, if you walk away first, you're not only controlling your emotions, but ultimately you are controlling outcomes. So, you know, start with you first, essentially. Um, just a bit of warning, I will say, and I know this all too often, or all too this is all too close to my heart. Please, please, please be aware of self-medication. And this is said because I have done it. Ooh, a lot, a lot, a lot. Um, I used alcohol a lot to deal with my in-laws, to deal with my ex-husband, to deal with my family. And it was bad. It was very, very bad because, not only do you self-medicate and maybe you feel better, but remember though, a drunk tongue speaks a sober mind, which again is not mine, but I really wish it was. That's an awesome saying too, but it's true. You become less inhibited, your emotions become higher, and you become um, it's really a bad mix. You become a little, uh, I don't know, a little firestorm maybe inside of you. Because if you already are in that place where you're like, freaking hate all these people and or I don't want to be here or anything. If you add alcohol to that, you're just shaking up some shit, aren't you? So please, please, please be careful of that. It's very it can be toxic for you at a whole nother level. So that is really all I have for you as far as the little talk. So let's go through our workbook if you're still following along, which I hope you are. So we're on day 3. So let's go right through it. Anger is the most difficult emotion to control. The most powerful emotion we can feel is fear. And I didn't touch on fear that much when we were talking, but it is really true. That is, fear is. I mean, all emotions are so high and so powerful, but fear is, the most powerful. These emotions, along with all the other ones, come from our mind. They all do, you know? Fear truly doesn't exist outside the world. It's all in your mind, and it's the most powerful. So what does that tell you? We already know we can control what we think. Remember in the beginning what I said, perception. You know, you don't attach the perception to something that really isn't there. We get emotional when somebody triggers us, right? Like I said, those triggers, man, they're out there. This can actually be helpful because it will help identify where we are having the most trouble. It's going to be hard in the moment, but it really will help you identify later on. And let's face it, I mean, we all make mistakes. We all blow up at people. We all, have our bad days. But every day we work to get better. And that's the point, isn't it? The emotions and corresponding triggers during some events are fear. What do we fear? The unknown, right? We really do. We fear the unknown. Sadness. Why do we get sad? Remember me talking about it the other day? Unrealistic expectations. You want Hallmark, you get blood in, blood out. That's shitty, but, makes you sad. Happiness, compatibility, right? If you want to watch something that somebody else is watching, that makes me happy. If somebody's cooking something that you really want to eat, that makes me happy, So compatibility. Anger, disrespect, right? Yeah, everybody gets angry when they're disrespected. Well, you should anyway, right? Disgust, vulgarity. So, I may be disgusting some of you right now with my vulgarity. I do apologize, but you knew it when you were signing up for. So that is the workbook. Those are the answers for the workbook. And what is the homework for tonight? So read over the homework. You know what? I'm not going to go through with this tonight because I'm already on 28 minutes. So, but I did want to talk to you briefly about the breathing exercise, like or the exercise that I mentioned. It's a breathing exercise, and it's really helped me in my life control my anger almost immediately, and just take a step back. So what you do is you breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 2. And then breathe out for maybe 6, 7 counts. But here's the kicker. When you breathe out so slowly that you imagine that there's a feather in front of you and you don't want to disturb the feather. That's how lightly you're breathing out. And then just sit for a second. That breathing automatically calms your brain down. It's a biological response. You have no control over it. Breathing truly is helpful. That's why people say, hey, take a second, breathe. It's, yeah, it might sound nasty, but it really is true. Breathing helps you. Here's something else that may help you. I have a special offer. I know that I'm talking about toxic families and toxic relationships and all of that, but I'm doing it very generally. I'm doing it in a generalized fashion. I'm talking about mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and friends, but I'm not actually talking about your mother, brother, sister, father, all that stuff. So, what I want to do is I want to give you a laser focused phone call. And then I also want to do a special plan for you after that. So, I am doing this for $75. My rate for 1 hour phone calls is $150. So, for half price, I would like to get you, like I said, a laser focused phone call. And I want to create a plan for you, a plan of action, so you are ready to face that toxic family, toxic friends, coworkers. Oh, sweet mother, we may have Christmas parties coming up, even if it's virtually. I don't know. But I want to be able to be there for you to help you through this, to get you that personalized plan that you need. So contact me, email me, message me, whatever you'd like, and let's set that up. So that is all I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Drop me a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Okay, enjoy your night. Bye.